in and of itself. There's just so many weird creatures in the ocean.
Something where everybody's talking about and how ferocious these sea creatures are.
What's believed to be the first images of a rare deep-sea fish.
The storm came out of nowhere. One minute, the horizon was calmly moving through the peaceful sea, and our team was getting ready for what we thought would be a normal survey. The next minute, the sky exploded in a wild storm, lightning flashing, winds howling, and waves rising so high they reached the ship's mast. The water seemed to come alive, crashing against the boat, as if it was trying to swallow us whole. "Hold on!" Marcos, the captain, yelled over the deafening sound of the storm. His hands were gripping the steering wheel so tightly, his knuckles were turning white. Before we could even react, the boat jerked. A huge wave slammed into the ship, sending us sliding across the deck. I looked toward the horizon. Everything looked wrong, like a giant whirlpool was pulling the ocean apart. Then, all of a sudden, everything stopped. The wind, the waves, the lightning, all gone. In the blink of an eye, the ocean was still, as if some invisible force had pressed pause on the world. The air felt thick, like the world was holding its breath. The water was perfectly flat, almost like a dark mirror reflecting the sky. I stood there, my heart racing, feeling frozen. Olivia, our marine biologist, was the first to speak. She slowly walked to the edge of the boat, staring at the water, her face a mix of curiosity and fear. "Look at that," she whispered. I turned to look, and my stomach dropped. Just under the surface, I could see hundreds, no thousands, of glowing golden eyes. They were watching us, their pupils wide and unblinking, floating deep below, like they were waiting for something. The water around us seemed to shimmer, glowing faintly from underneath. "Is this some kind of underwater creature?" Jake, our tech expert, asked. His voice was tight with apprehension. Before anyone could answer, the water rippled, and something enormous began to rise from the depths. It was so huge, it made the ship look like a toy. Long, sinuous, glowing scales covered its body, shifting from shades of deep purple to golden yellow, the creature's form twisting and coiling like a giant snake. Then the voice. It wasn't spoken aloud, but I could hear it in my mind, as if it were coming from everywhere. "You have disturbed my slumber." The words didn't just echo, they thundered, vibrating in my bones, making the air itself feel charged with something ancient and terrifying. My heart hammered in my chest. I wasn't the only one scared. Olivia's face had gone pale, and Jake was staring wide-eyed at the creature, his mouth moving but no sound coming out. Then the creature's golden eyes narrowed. "You seek something..." Before I could ask what it meant, Jake suddenly stepped forward, his face transfixed. His hand reached into his pocket, pulling out a small silver coin he always carried for luck. He flicked it into the water. "I wish for $1 million, he murmured, almost like a prayer. Everything went silent. The ocean held its breath. And then, the ripple. The surface of the water seemed to pulse, and the air shimmered with an almost electric charge. The creature's eyes flared with a sudden intensity. I felt something shift, like the world around us had just tilted. Jake blinked, his face slack, his pupils vanishing, replaced by pure white. He muttered in a voice that didn't sound like his own, a voice that was deep, otherworldly. "I have made my wish." I didn't understand what happened next. A black suitcase emerged from the water, bobbing gently on the surface. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't an illusion. There, in the cold, still ocean, was the proof of Jake's wish. Jake didn't hesitate. He reached out, pulling the suitcase from the water, his hands trembling. He opened it, and there they were, stacks of $100 bills. Fresh, crisp, real. We stared in shock. $1 million. It wasn't possible. We were all thinking the same thing. How did this happen? But before I could say anything, Jake suddenly screamed. His body went stiff, his skin turning gray. The veins in his neck and face bulged, and his eyes bloodshot. He stumbled back, his mouth gaping open in pain, blood pouring from his eyes and ears. It was like his very life force was being drained. He collapsed, falling to the deck with a sickening thud. I rushed to him, but it was already too late. Jake was dead. The golden eyes beneath the water glowed brighter, as if the creature was satisfied with the transaction. Then came the voice again. The price is always paid. I turned to Olivia, my voice shaking. What the hell was that? What did we just do? Olivia couldn't speak. Her face was a mask of horror. I could see the way her hands trembled as she backed away from the edge of the boat. "Let's get out of here," Marcos, the captain, shouted. His voice broke through the fear, but I saw the terror in his eyes too. We quickly ran back to the helm, with Marcos pushing the engines full speed ahead. The horizon sped through the still water, but something felt off. The golden eyes were everywhere, watching us from beneath the surface. A cold chill ran up my spine. Then the radio crackled. "Mayday! Mayday! This is the Silver Crest. We're sinking!" It was a nearby research ship, and they were going down fast. Without thinking, I whispered, "I wish they were safe." The air shimmered again, and the golden eyes flared. The sea seemed to hold its breath for a moment. Then, the radio crackled again. "We don't know how, but we're safe. The waves just stopped." Before I could feel relief, I heard a splash. I spun around. Marcos was gone. There was no sound, no struggle, just empty space where he had been standing. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. The golden eyes still watched me, unblinking, pressing in from all directions. I turned to Olivia, but her face was pale, her eyes wide with fear. She was shaking, her lips moving without sound. Without a word, she ran toward the edge of the boat. "Olivia!" I shouted, grabbing her arm, but she pulled away, her eyes empty. She looked at me one last time and whispered, "What if we just wish it all back?" Before I could stop her, she walked straight into the ocean. She didn't sink. She didn't struggle. She just disappeared into the water like smoke. And then, the creature rose again. I fell to my knees, overwhelmed. The golden eyes surrounded me, waiting. I opened my mouth to speak, but all I could whisper was, "You win." And with that, the ocean pulled me under. The cold water rushed in, but I couldn't fight it. The creature had claimed its price. Now, deep beneath the waves, the creature waits, ready for the next wish and the next price to be paid.